Yo, what's up, everyone? In this video, we're going to talk about pretty much if you're a beginner, how to make your first $10,000 and what are the right steps you got to take for you to get there. If you're a credit company, it's going to be even easier. But if you're a brand new beginner and don't even have any clients or don't even know what funding is or where to learn this stuff, I'm going to show you pretty much here. So let's jump right into it. So how to make your first 10K. So everybody always wants to make the first 10K, which I honestly think is the wrong mindset. You should be like, I want to make 100K. And if you try to solve that problem, you naturally fall into making 20, 30K months. But some people set the bar at 10K, so they're like, they can't even make it there. But that's a whole other thing. So how do you make your first 10K? Well, one of the first thing we got to go over is the actual funding knowledge. So you need to have funding knowledge in order to fund these people, because then you're not gonna have a good time. So you need to at least have some sort of knowledge of fulfillment. So, but one of the things you should ask yourself is how many business or how many people do I know that would like an extra 50 to 100 grand of 0% interest? And the answer is pretty much anyone. And like on the personal level, anybody could use 30 to 50. On the business level, anybody could use anywhere between um anybody could use any I'm sorry, something popped up. So anybody could use anywhere between 50 to 100. So now we got to go into pretty much the learning phase. Where do you start? So there's different types of money. The one that we like doing is 0% funding, because honestly for me is the one that I knew the most about, because I already have funding myself. I think when I started selling it, I already had a couple $100,000 of 0%. I had some I had like a 50 or 60 in my personal, about 200 in my business. My fiance almost identical. I think she had a little bit more than me. My stepdad, he had an amazing credit. We got him like another 180. So I already had a lot of knowledge of this stuff. So I went the 0% route. Of course, there's multiple things you can sell: MCAs, ISOs, hard money, um, lending equipment. Someone in the program just joined right now that they're like, oh, we lend to companies who need money for equipment. So there's many things out there, but I like the 0% model. Of course, you can have different products. It's no problem with that. But you have to go through the learning phase. Now, the learning phase is pretty much you need to learn your own product. You need to learn what's going on, how to use it, if it's even possible. And I recommend anybody who has a good credit score, if you have at least a 720 credit score, like 700 plus, at least decent. You at least have 10K in your personal. You have an LC that's not high risk. Remember, high risk. If you're like, if you say real estate, if you have a high night code, that you're gonna get denied. If like for me was MF rentals, so I had a rental on my company, and I got the worst loans. I'm sorry. What you gotta do is change your name to a consulting industry, or change your industry into a consulting industry or marketing industry. These are the ones that we typically see get the best types of results. So let's say if you're a consulting company with a 700 plus credit score, it's not too difficult to get approved for maybe 20 to 30 grand at 0%. You're like, okay, this stuff works. And then you can go more nuanced and learn more from it, and kind of like, going. A lot of our clients, it's kind of like this, that they already have some information. They're like, oh, I know this works, so I have some myself, so that's why they want to sell the product. Or some already I've been funding, they just needed the machine of constant leads. So we're gonna learn pretty much the money. Which money we're gonna learn? We're gonna learn some 0%. The learning phase, you gotta go through that. Once you learn the learn phase, then you can go to resolve phase. Now, for us, we do have mini courses on this. So I mean, we also have, there's YouTube. But guys, you don't have to learn it from me. There's so much information about the 0%. There's actually guys way better than me in the industry that could teach you more about 0% than me. But I do have some services for you for that. That's up to you. You can either click one of my mini courses or my monthly subscriptions, whatever you want to do. But there's a lot of information out there. There's coaching programs there that literally specify on showing you how to do 0% from 4 to 10K. So go learn from one of these people, or learn from YouTube, or learn from our lower ticket products. That's up to you. I really don't mind. So now once you go to the learning phase and you actually get yourself results and people results, and you understand the value, then you will feel confident to sell it, right? Because if you don't feel confident selling something, it's going to be hard for you to even operate that business. So one of the first things is actually just the mindset that if it works or not. And, and of course it works. If not, we wouldn't have a business. But, you like I said, it's a mindset thing. You got to know, you got to believe it. You got to see it to believe it. So understand the value. So then you can build a business, right? So once you understand once you learn what you want to sell, which right now we talk about 0%. And you go through the learning phase, so you can learn exactly how to facilitate or how to do the fulfillment in of the actual product. Then you understand it, you got the results for yourself, you got yourself for your family members. I did the same thing. Another thing, like, yeah, I didn't even mention, yeah, it was my stepfather, but I also did it for a couple of family members too. Like I did a lot of 0%, and I went on the local level before I even ran an ad. I think we funded up to 42 or 50, like it was something in the 40s. Business locally, we got help from one of my best friends, Steven's father. He's like a tax person. He's been in the industry for like he's pretty much his whole life. So he had a pretty big book of business, and he gave us his whole list. So we just went to these businesses. They were local here in Miami, and that's how I got my other 50 clients before I even turned on the 0% ad. But yeah, then once you do that, you understand the value, then you can sell it. Now, once you get through this part, the learning phase, then we can actually start building the business, start actually getting clients, have the confidence to actually sell this stuff, right? So one of the things, if you are a credit company, it's going to be very beneficial for you because you're going to already have past clients. That's why I always market to credit companies. Like when I do my ads, I'm like credit and funding companies. One of the reasons why I do credit and funding companies is because it's such a good business together. If you're already in the credit repair business and you already have a bunch of, like I have people who've been in the credit repair business for like 3 years or 2 years, and they have like, I have 200 clients, 300 clients that I've worked with, 400 clients, and right now actively 50 of those have good credit repair, a good credit score. They're in above the 700. So I'm like, great. That's the first people before we even run an ad, that's the first people we should target. So if you guys already have a book of business, if you guys already have clients, they already have good credit score, already looking for funding, this should be one of the first things you do. Reach out to them. And you should go into the reach out phase. The reach out phase should look to something like this. Hey, do you know anybody who can use 50 to 250K at 0% for the business? My company has a new product and would like to do it for a third of the price. You can do this. I like to do this because I'm doing it for a third of the price for a badass testimonial. Do you know anybody? Do you have anybody in mind? The reason the lower cost is not because it's cheap. It's just because I'm trying to get my business going. I need to get 10 badass testimonials. And usually when we start a business, start a new product, people are very like, okay, especially the value is there, the offer is there, which is you're offering 50 to 200K 0%. That's why we have clients who don't do any content, and we have clients who do content, like the media side, and they're both crushing it because just the offer is so good. At the end of the day, you're selling money, and who doesn't need minimum 50K at 0% interest for 12 to 2 years, depending on the card and the bank. But yeah, this will be the reach out phase, and I will send this like an SMS. I will send this to text. I'll call a bunch of people. If you can have their phone number, you can call them, especially if you have a good relationship with them. We've seen this work extremely well. I have a client that I was about to say his name. I don't know if I should, but that one of the first thing he did, it was that he made, I think, like 40 to 50K his first month of joining us, because that's the first thing he did. It was just reach out to his book of business, and said he already had a good relationship. He already got some clients. It's the ROI on his time. So you guys should have the same mentality. If you have already people that want the service, even if you have 10, if you have 20, call them. Hey, do you know anybody who can use 50 to 200K at 0%? The reason why we're asking, do you know anybody, is because if you pitch them directly, they feel some type of way. But if you tell them, hey, do you know somebody that could use this? They'll be like, hey, I could use this. And then we tell them, hey, it's right now for a third of the price. Again, we could charge anywhere between 6 to 12K. That's honestly, well, the lowest my clients are charging is 5, but you can charge all the way to 12K. Like one of our clients, he's literally charging 12K for the same services. So you can go, well, he's just getting more funding. I don't want to say the same services. He's providing more funding. That's why he feels confident to charge higher ticket. But you can charge anywhere, let's say 2K, 3K, 4K, just to start off. Another thing you can do, which is very successful, I did it in the local level, especially if you have a relationship with these people, you can be like, hey, it's $1,000 down and 5% of the funding. So there's like no resistance. You can even go lower to, hey, $500 down to start, and 8% of the funding, 10% of the funding. And this works very well if you already have a relationship with them, because there's barely no resistance. Okay, $500, $1,000, $2,000. Right now we have a client that I usually don't like say, hey guys, do the percentage of the back end, because it could get sloppy, especially at scales. I always tell people, get at least 6K, get at least 8K, get something down. You have to get money down. But I have a client that's doing right now 300K and 250 cash collected. He's doing really good numbers. And what he does is 2K down and 8% on the back end. But there's some sort of down payment in the beginning because there's costs and all that stuff. So yeah, so you can be like, hey, do and like I said, like call everybody, do an SMS, do a cold email, whatever you gotta do. Especially if you have a relationship with these people, I will definitely call. And a simple phone call explaining what it is. Of course, they're gonna be like, I do know some people, because business owners know other business owners, but they're gonna be like, hey, can you tell me a little more about it, because I'm actually interested, right? So do that. Pricing of I was already mentioning here. So yeah, there's just different, like I said, there's different formulas you can do. I think charging somebody just 2K flat rate for your first deals is absolutely fair. If you give somebody a minimum of like just 30 grand, 40 grand, you're more than 10x their investments. You give them money that they didn't have before. So I think 2K, it's pretty fair. Like I said, you can charge all the way to 12K flat. And then you can do the 500 down right now of 5 or 10%, especially if you have a good relationship with them and you don't feel too confident in your funding skills. The percentage on the back end works very well. That's why a lot of people do it, because, well, there's two ways. If you're very, very, very confident you can get somebody 200 grand, then you get me charging somebody 10%, you're making 20K off the bat. So it's very profitable. I have some clients that literally, they just get like 5 clients a month, and they do huge deals, and like they charge them 10%, and then they're making a killing with just charging 10%, but they're getting somebody funded 500 and plus, which is insane. Again, you can do then 250 down. It's whatever you guys feel comfortable with. You get me? If you guys already funded yourself, you're funding your family members and a few other clients, and you can get minimum 50K, you can be like, hey, I'll charge you like $1,000, and you guys do your math, and 5%, 8%, and then whatever you want to do. So like all you gotta do is pretty much get 5 clients to make 10K more. Of course, the more you charge, the less clients you gotta deal with, which I'm very big on that. I prefer working with 20 clients a month and making $500,000 a month than doing 50. Like in my funding company, for me to do 300,000, I had to service 50. I think it was like 52 clients a month. Yeah, exactly. It was 52 clients. So that's for me to do 300K. With the model company, where the one that we show credit from the company, I just need to service 18 to 20 clients. I'm already doing 500K a month, which is, I love being in that space. So you guys could do whatever you guys want, but get up to 5 clients. It could be 2 clients, it could be 3 clients. You guys do the math, and you're already at 10K cash collected. And that's not even counting if you do charging, because if you get 5 clients at 2K down, that's 10K, but you can do 2K down and a small percentage on the back end. And that you already made 10K cash collected, and it's not even the percentage on the back end. So that's huge too. So now one thing, here's like the prices that I've seen. So I've seen on the low, like once you have the ball going, you get your first 5-10 clients. I will already start going in the 6K to 12K range, because that's just what it's worth. If you can get somebody anywhere with 60 to 80K, like it's 6K is worth it. As long as like I'm very comfortable charging somebody 15 to 20x of the investment. So if you're charging 5K and you get them like 100K, that you almost 20x the investment. I think that's totally reasonable and totally fair. Here I put something with one of the things you guys could do. Like I said, the phone books, the social media. If you guys want to pull a post of like, hey, launching the new service, like I've seen this done all the time. It's called the 5 Guys. So you'd be like, hey, I'm looking for 5 business owners or 5 entrepreneurs with a 700 plus credit score that wants access to 50 to 150K at 0% interest in the next 30 days. You can make a reel, you can make a post, you can make a carousel, whatever it may be. Of course, this only works if you have like a good following and you have like a good social media following. The way that I did this, I went from, like I said, to the local level first. Like I'll say it again. If you guys I don't know why I started my funding company. I pretty much got scammed for a ridiculous amount of money. It was over 500,000. I'm still kind of paying a little bit for it because there was lawsuits involved. It was insane. Pretty much I lost like, it's actually summing up now to almost 600,000. But these people, it was a long con. These people befriended me. They became my friends. It was like a whole thing, bro. And I just pretty much woke up one day and it started when it rains it pours, and it just started happening. And then I started my funding company. It was the filed for bankruptcy, and I didn't want to do that because the reason why I had such a big and huge company, a rental company, I had to use multiple people's credit to get there, and even my own families. So it was either cover the backs or file with the bankruptcy, and then we all get fucked. And I didn't want to do that. So what we did is I started a funding company. I knew how to. I funded myself a couple times. Like I said before, me and my fiance already had over $500,000 together. So we're like, and I know we could do this. I found a couple family members just because they needed it. And then I went to the local level. I funded over, it was 43 to 50 clients. We charged them, I think it was $500 and then 10%. And then we went to $1,000 and then 5%, I think it was. And then we started charging at the end of the process, we started charging $6K. And then I went online, that's kind of how I do it now. We generate ads to, well, not on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is kind of like a different process, but Facebook and Instagram primarily. We generate about 50 to 60 clients. The max I've gotten has been 60. The lowest I've gotten has been 20 clients a month, paying us 8 to 12K a pop, depending on how much you're charging. Like I have clients that they're charging 12K a pop, but they're servicing 5 or 6, and they're already making 60, 70K months, whatever it may be. And then we have clients that are charging 6K pop, but then they're doing 300K months, and they're servicing 50 clients, just like I was. So that's a whole other thing. That's exactly what my company does. Like Access to Media's Academy is pretty much, we implement the systems for you, which is kind of like over here. We implement all these funnels to generate consistent leads into your funnel, into your calendar, pretty much, where you can have people to pay you for your high ticket service. But again, that's already, if you have money and you have capital and you have some 0%, then we could work together. Then we could do this. But for this is brand new beginners that like, hey, I don't even know what funding is. This is pretty much the process of it. You guys first got to learn it. You got to, like, one of the first things, like how this whole thing started, you got to ask yourself, is this even worth doing? How many people, business owner, actually you can put business owner, you can put entrepreneurs, you can put people, but how many people will need 50 to 80K at 0% interest? Pretty much everyone. So that's one of the key things you should ask yourself. Is this industry worth my time? Would I put the next 3 to 5 years of my time into this industry? Is the money market a profitable market? And I'm telling you, it is. You can grab 10 people in the streets and they all need funding, So that's why it's such a profitable niche, because at the end of the day, you're selling money. It's the oldest business in the book. I'm just trying to get $1 and sell it for $2. It's literally like the oldest business in the book. So once you understand that you want to do this, you want to get into this market, you want to get into the credit or funding market, then you got to go into the learning phase. Now, I think for me, learning is while executing. So while you're learning, start executing. Learn something, go execute it. Learn something, execute it. Don't go to this 6 months learning phase that you're just learning, and you haven't taken any action, and you're sitting on the sidelines and you're watching my Instagram and you're watching my YouTube and you see me posting all these results or whatever it may be, and you're like, oh, well, I'm about to do it. So learn from me. Learn from somebody. I see coaching programs from 4 to 10K to teach you everything there is about funding. Like I don't really lean to that. I'm more to the marketing side. I do have courses on funding. They're like $7 to $97 a month. You guys decide what you want to. I truly don't care. This, of course, is coaching, so you're gonna have somebody holding your hand. My stuff is just more videos. So it's whatever you want to learn. That's why it's a lot cheaper. That's why I could charge these prices, because it's just you watching a bunch of videos. But if you want someone to hold your hand, there's people out there that can help you do that. So learn the funding game, learn the credit game, learn how to give these people results, or you could be your own guinea pig. Once you have the good credit score and you're able to fund yourself, that's usually how I started. Fund yourself a couple times. Fund a family member, fund a family friend, whatever it may be. And then once you do this, now you have the confidence to either you get your own clients. There's a bunch of ways to get clients. Like I said, you can do social media, reach outs. You can do LinkedIn. LinkedIn is awesome because if you can start getting clients from LinkedIn, it's just your time. You just got to put in the work. It's a lot of time, but what do you have? You could do cold reach outs on Instagram. You could do cold reach outs on Facebook. Just be careful, because if you spam, you're gonna get blocked. But there's multiple ways to get there. You can just search business owners. There's a bunch of them on Instagram. There's a bunch of them on Facebook that you can go into Facebook group. There's so many ways you can do this, especially for real estate people. Real estate people are always looking for money, not for cash. For, let's say, hey, did you buy already a piece of property? I'll facilitate you some 0% for you can get, for you can get your new windows, new floors, whatever it may be. Real estate people are always looking for more types of different money. So this will work. So, all right, guys, I hope that gave you kind of like a broad understanding of where do I got to go next? What is my next steps? How did I make my first 50K with using this model? I did it first, like I said, I did it at the local level. I was blessed that one of my best friends had a book of business. His dad had a book of business, so that's the first business we went through, and I think we had like over a 90% closing rate, because it was $500 and 10. I think, yeah, it was 10% in the back end. And it was like, as long as they had the good credit score. Again, if they don't have, which I should actually let me put this in here. You need to be careful, because not everybody's fundable, right? So you need the right data points. I'm gonna give you some data points here, but this is pretty much the key to all of this. If you don't have a good credit score, this is not gonna work. That's just bare surface of it. Like, if you don't have just this, then we shouldn't even be talking. All right. So this is the reason why we were very successful in our clients that we got, because we only worked with, out of the 40 something. Well, no, we closed like 43 clients, but he gave us a huge book of business to go through, and we didn't work with everybody. Everybody wanted credit repair, or everybody wasn't ready, or whatever. We only worked with some that we knew. Some people had some business had different owners. So there was one specific that had like 4 or 5 owners. There was 2 that their credit score was incredible. Those were the first 2 we got funded. So let me go over those data points. I'm gonna write right here. Data points. So one of the main things, of course, every profile is different. I always say, just because you see it here, be like, oh, this is exactly what I need. Because if you have late payments, if you have like a bankruptcy if you have a late payment with a bank that, like, even though your credit score is 700 or some whatever, but then you have a bad history with a certain bank, it's not gonna go well for you. So one of the first things you always gonna look for is a good credit score. So when you come across these business owners, you ask, what's the credit score? And it needs to be, at least, if you want to even be having a conversation, it needs to be 700 plus. It needs to be 700 plus. If it's not 700 plus, you shouldn't be having any conversation. Another thing they need to have is a good business. The longer they've been in business, the better. If they've been in business for 2 years, so I'll say life. Actually, how can I oversimplify? How can I put this? Pretty much, I'm just gonna put 2 years plus. 2 years. 2 years plus. So the longer they've been in business, the better. Now, another key component of all of this is the risk factor of the business. Like, how risky is the business? How you can gauge this is, do they need a lot of money to operate? If the business needs hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands of dollars to operate a month, it's considered high risk business. So if they're a high risk business, you got to work your way around it. You could create a brand new LLC if they have a really good credit score. Let's say if you have like an 800 credit score, you can create a brand new LLC for them, and in 2 months or so, they could get 30 to 50K. I've seen it a bunch of times. Like, it's not even, you don't even have to wait 3 months, to be honest. If you set everything right, it could be done in a week. It's just like, I'm just giving you long timelines. So at least 2 years in business. What's another thing? Oh, money in the bank. How much they have in the bank. So that's pretty important. So, like, how much it will look good? At least 5K plus. If they have 5K plus, 10K plus, hell, the more the better, literally. Like, so credit score, boom. In business, 2 year plus. Bank amount, bank amount. Let me move this so you could be. Sorry guys, I am a little sick. I just came from Europe a couple of days ago, and it was a very long trip, and that trip messed me up. I got sick. So the data points of funding, they need a 700 plus credit score, 2 years in business. If you're going on the local level, like everybody's at least 2 years in business. It could be less, to be honest. Like I said, we have funding LLCs that just started, but the longer the time, the better. It doesn't always have to be 2 years. Again, if you have a good credit score, a brand new LLC could happen, especially a low risk, which I'm gonna put that low risk LLC. I'm just gonna put consulting because it's literally the most. Oh, put it this wrong. So, what's the next one? High risk. I'm just gonna put some high risk ones here for you guys. Rental, real estate. That's another one. I'm just gonna put two because I don't want to make this part too big. But yeah. So a high risk, again, anything that takes high operation costs, I wouldn't get into it. I'll tell them to create a brand new LLC and go to the consulting route. Another thing is, are they profitable? So I'm just gonna put bank statements. Bank statements. If they're profitable, of course they're gonna get funded. If they look at the back statements, of course they're gonna. So it's like, if you get a great profile, it's really hard to screw it up. You get me? Like, that's why I like, when we first started this, we weren't too confident ourselves, so we were very careful who we worked with, and that's why anybody got funded and they worked with us. Because I was only letting people in, and I could show you something too. Back in, I could show you our numbers for 2022. Back in 2022. Which we did 1.6 million and 800K. We only worked, look at this, message to close. We only work with 1% of the people who reach out to us. That means I'm saying no like a motherfucker. I'm telling everybody no, 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 no. So that's that's the reason why we were getting people funding in our fulfillment department. There was barely no complaints. Yes, there's complaints here and there, maybe like a 5%, but out of the 5% or 95%, I could play that game all day. So that's one of the things that kept us profitable and kept the machine going. That we only let in a profile that if it didn't look like this, we're not talking. We're not gonna even book a call. You get me? Like, when our system, you get disqualified. Very easy. Like, I'm trying to work with clients that I'm not trying to like, if you're like, I always say this in the beginning of my calls. Hey, I don't work with difficult clients. Like, I don't want to make this part difficult. Meaning that, like, if I let you in and I know I can get you results, then why are we talking? You get me? And that's my whole philosophy when it comes to like sales and doing these things online. Just because I only want to work with somebody that bro, when I'm 100% sure in my mind that I could get you results, then I try to get you in, and it's up to you to take the medicine or not. I'm like, hey, here's the offer, whatever. Do you want to work with? But that's why I try to work with only clean profiles, because then they're gonna hate you unless you're in the credit repair space. If you're already in the credit repair space, you can be like, you can charge them $6,000, $8,000, and throw the credit repair in there. Hey, look, 3 months is credit repair, and then we're gonna get you funded. If anything, you can split the payments in half. Hey, it's $8,000, so start with 4, or it could be 6, start with 3. Get you funded when the other 3, like in 3, whatever it may be. Work a deal out for them. So if you're in the credit repair space, then even better. So every business you come across, you can technically work with. Just build it in the price. Don't separate credit repair and they're like, hey, look at the profile. Okay, you need credit repair. So Sam, if you need credit repair, it's gonna be like a 2-month, 3-month longer process. Let me know if that's okay with you before I move forward. Okay, that's okay. Beautiful. So it's gonna cost you $8,000. You can start today with 4. I'm gonna get you ready, blah blah blah, and then I'll charge you the next 4, whatever it may be. Can we start? And then you can start the process. Okay. So these are key data points that you need to again looking for. If you have this data points, you can pretty much fund as many people as possible. The more, the better. You know, 700 plus credit score is like already like the two bare minimum. If they have lower than this, like you got to know what the hell you're doing to get them funded. Because I've seen people get funded at 680 credit scores, 670, but you need to know what the hell you're doing. So I'll first work with the creme on the creme, you know, and then as I build confidence, I know what I'm doing. Then you can take more, you know, more leverage risk because you have more information. All right. So I hope you guys got a lot of value of this video and kind of understand where to go. And now you got some data points of how to look for a current profile or a good profile you can get funded. All right, guys. I'll see you on the next one.